because you worked for 24 years, correct me if I'm wrong, from 94 to 2018. And I was wondering, how does a justice warrior like you walk away from prosecuting the baddest criminals that, like, that's my like little boy dream. I always sometimes wish I was the head of the chief homicide. So yeah, was there a moment where you're like, I just can't take this anymore?
I never lost the appetite for prosecuting cases. There's something sort of uniquely satisfying about being a homicide prosecutor, at least for me, because one, you get to help families who lost a loved one as a result of violent crime. You get to help them through what is often the most difficult ordeal of their lives. Not only do you have a loved one taken from your family suddenly, you're now injected into police investigations and grand jury proceedings and trials and sentencing, probation, parole. And you're just trying to get through the day as a family and move in the direction of healing. So I got to do that, help those families through the process. And it's often a multi-year process. Wow. And I also got to try cases. I got to craft a case and stand up in court and talk to 12 people in a jury box who sit as the conscience of the community and try to persuade them of the righteousness of my case, of the quality and quantity of my evidence. And getting 12 people to unanimously decide to hold a fellow member of their jurisdiction, their community, accountable for murder. Try to get 12 people to unanimously agree to anything, where to have lunch. It's a challenge.
Wow.
But there's something about the challenge of it and the performance of it. I can be a ham, it just appealed to me. And it's a great question. How could I walk away from it? I did it for 30 years. And I think maybe once was asked by the Department of Justice, what we call Main Justice, the building in which the bureaucrats dwell. I was at the U.S. Attorney's Office, which was just a few blocks away. We were the ones trying the cases, as are the other 92 U.S. Attorney's offices around the country. That's where the trials take place, as opposed to Main Justice. I call it the land of the bureaucrats jokingly. I mean, there's a lot of hard work that gets done at the Department of Justice, Main Justice. I think once, Dash, I was invited to come over and apply for a bureaucratic job. And I said, not only am I not going to apply for it, I'm not going to walk the 6 blocks from my office over to Main Justice, because I have no interest in doing anything other than what I'm doing. I love it. It gives me great job satisfaction. I feel like it's valuable. I'm also aggressively protecting the rights of every defendant that I prosecute to make sure if we're going to do it, we do it right in accordance with the law and the Constitution. I've had to prosecute police officers when they did wrong. I had to dismiss cases when the police did wrong. So for me, it was like a win-win-win. It gave me everything I wanted professionally. But after 30 years, I had enough age to retire from the department. I had enough years in service to retire from the department. My wife and I sat down and we're like, okay, I love this. Do I do it for another 5, 10, 15 years? Or do I try to step out of government and contribute to this justice fight in a different way? And it was not an easy decision, but I decided to try to contribute in a different way.